Welcome to episode 60 of Drew's Sports Crew. We made it to number 60 here on this Monday morning, and joining me, Alex Trowbridge, his first time on the podcast. So, Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I just got to watch the Bucks win.
Bucks
Pretty
win,
great
and
day.
Corbin Burns not getting run support. Shocker. I mean, there's some consistencies, and that's one of them. But
that lineup.
yeah, it's good to have you on today. We're gonna go through all the weekly segments, of course, today on this Monday, May 2nd, 2022, as it is the date. But with that here, we got to talk about some good things we have coming up. We have a surprise coming up soon. You'll see it on the Instagram, Facebook. It is exciting. I am really looking forward to this announcement. And you're going to have to wait and see. But as you guys have saw, new posts on Instagram. Got to credit Zach Roush. He's been working hard on making some rankings. Elise Fisher, she's been helping me with some templates. I'll make the template. She usually helps. She's the peer editor, right? So thanks to her for helping me out with that. But yeah, we've been getting some great content out, and we're going to keep that up on the Instagram, of course. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, right? We want to keep that growing there. I know it's just a still image still, but hey, you can always just give us that subscriber there. And, we got to talk now about the shout of the week. And as you guys know, these past few weeks, I've let the guest do the shout of the week. So, Alex, who are you going to shout out this week?
I'm going to shout out Luke Gedicke for getting drafted 57th overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ex-Valders alumni.
Yes, as he is a former Valders graduate, played, Stevens Point for a year at tight end, and then goes to Central Michigan, dominates there, and then gets drafted, excels at the combine, right? It's just great for the EWC community, right? We'll be talking about, EWC stuff tomorrow on the breakdown, but, it's just looking great, representing, right, this area. First player out of Wisconsin drafted in the draft out of born in the state, right? Not out of. So with that, that's some exciting stuff. And yeah, congrats to Luke Gedicke, his family. Kane Youngbluth, who we had on last week, has a connection with Gedicke. So just awesome stuff there, and really happy for everyone. The Gedicke family, of course. So with that here, let's go to the stats of the week. And Alex, we have a lot of stats this week. We're gonna a lot of baseball ones this week. That's just how it is, because a lot of baseball, a lot of good things happen in baseball. You always have something wacky happen. So Willie Adames, against the Pirates, right? Pirates not having the greatest pitching staff. He ties a franchise record with 7 RBIs, and that's been done 13 times now. That's most by a player in the majors this season. That was also his first career multi-home run game. That was April 26th that took place. So how about Willie Adames? Alex, Willie Adames Day is coming up May 22nd, almost a year anniversary.
Oh, that is pretty incredible to think about. But Willie, although it was against the Pirates, I do have to say that is a good start to try to ramp him up a little bit here. Try to get him going. He's had a slow start to the season. Hey, sometimes it takes a couple of bad teams to play against. He's been hitting the ball hard as hell.
That's exactly what you want out of your shortstop there. But let's talk now. As of April 27th, this was about the LA Angels, right? They've been an interesting franchise these past few years, right? You got the best player, top 2 players maybe in the league, and look at the results necessarily haven't been there. But so far in 2022, the Angels, they're 5 games. They were 5 games over 500 for the first time since July 24th, 2019.
Jeez,
Nearly 3 years of not being 5 games over 500. So yeah, keep in mind that's half the 2019 season, the 60 game, then the shortened 2020, and then all the 2021 seasons. So, we saw Taylor Ward right now having his breakout campaign. That's been a story as well. But maybe this is the year the Angels, maybe they come out of the West.
I mean, that would be crazy. I personally thought the Astros were going to come out of the West pretty easily, but the Angels do look very good, and some of their young players are stepping up big time. So.
That's exactly, Taylor Ward in the leadoff spot seems to be, not batting Ohtani there. Look, I understand batting Ohtani there, but at the same time, I don't, right? You want Ohtani, he's not an OBP guy, right? You want someone who gets on base. I felt like, maybe batting Trout second, him third. I feel like that's still a better, composition, maybe even third and fourth, right? But
yeah, I like the Ohtani Trout second, third.
I think
Gets them the most at bats with somebody hopefully on base.
Yeah, because the amount of times we see Ohtani, double dong, right? And only 2 RBIs it counts for because nobody's on base. Shocker. So yeah, hopefully, we see Joe Madden make that adjustment there. But I got an offense stat here. We know the home runs are down and stuff, but the batting average through 20 games, the 2022 Diamondbacks as a team through 20 games were batting 178. That is the tied for third worst in Major League Baseball history. So that ties the 1972 Brewers right there. So, and yeah, they're 1 point better than the 2003 Tigers, who lost over 110 games. So, this isn't necessarily, an ideal stat, but look, the Diamondbacks are struggling right now offensively. So, next stat here, you mentioned Luke Gedeke, right? I got one from him. Yeah, Tampa Bay, they pick him. Number 57. So he goes 57th overall, and he was graded by Pro Football Focus 92.2. Yeah. And that was his grade in 2021. That's the second highest among FBS right tackles. So look at that. So I think at 57, I think they got a steal there. And I heard they were working him in at guard is kind of like the goal right now. And I think that's going to work just fine. Then I know with Marpet and some older guys, right, going through the Buccaneers, they're going to need some replacements, and he's a great fit there. I have to agree with that statement. All right, I got one more here. So this is from the Bucks game. So Giannis has his third worst shooting night of his playoff career on Sunday, game 1. Giannis, he becomes the first Bucks player in franchise history with multiple playoff triple doubles. And then the Bucks, they do take game 1. That was 101-89. So he puts up his second triple double in the playoffs. And Paul Presley is with the other, and then also Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, of course. So, there's 4 triple-doubles now, and 2 of them belong to Giannis. So, look, Giannis, he played incredible. That self-lob to me was definitely one of the best plays I've ever seen. That was crazy. It was so hype. That was indeed hype. And here we go. Let's go on this day. As I said, the date is May 2nd, 2022. So here are some things that happened on this day. On this day in 1876, Ross Barnes, he hits the first home run in National League history. And that was, like I said, 1876. 1909 on this day, Honus Wagner, he steals his way around bases in first inning, and that was against the Cubs. So how about that? 99 speed for sure. 1954 on this day, Stan Musial hits 5 home runs in a doubleheader. On this day in 1988, Reds manager Pete Rose, he is suspended 30 days for pushing an umpire. So they did 30 days back then. They didn't do games. I don't know what your thoughts are about that. I don't know. I just feel like that's a weird. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Yeah. But I got two more here. On this day in 1999, John Elway, he announces his retirement from the NFL. We thought Brady announced his retirement, but he comes back to haunt us one more year, maybe more. And then last one here on this day, 2015, Floyd Mayweather Jr., he beats Manny Pacquiao on points in 12 rounds in world welterweight unification fight. And this fight shatters all financial records for a boxing match. I don't know if you remember that fight, but that was something. I remember ESPN was going crazy for that. I didn't watch it, but oh my God, I saw all the advertisements for it. All the hype, right? So that there wraps up on this day. And with that, we go right away here, Alex. We go into the weekly sports talk. And before the air, full disclosure, Alex told me we're starting with the NFL draft, and I was like, let's do it. So with that, we got to talk about the NFL draft that took place Thursday through Saturday. It was quite the time. Look, a lot of, there's a lot of surprises, a lot of, sure locks. I thought this draft had a little bit of all of it, right? Oh yeah. But we're going to do our best to talk more Packers in the draft, because on Wednesday you will hear Zach, Jared, and Drew's NFL draft recap, and that is featuring Dustin Bergny. We have him coming on. He's been on the show before. He was a college athlete spotlight. He came on, and he will be talking about the draft with us. We'll be doing our draft grades, all that good stuff. You'll see that content, of course, on the Instagram as well. So keep a lookout for that. But yeah, we're gonna try to keep it mostly Packers here, but we have to talk about the general things still that took place here. So I'm gonna start with you, Alex. Who is your winners and losers of this draft? Let's start with the winners.
Winners, for my honorable mention, for the winners, I have the Panthers. They got the quarterback in the third round, and overall their draft was pretty good. They got their offensive tackle, protect that quarterback, and I think they did a pretty decent job. Probably a little underrated pick for winners of the draft. And then at 3, I have a tie actually with the Ravens and the Lions. I thought the Ravens got the best value pick overall in the draft, selecting Kyle Hamilton 14th overall. He is going to be an incredible player, and I knew that they were going to go defense, and I saw him on the board. I just knew it was a perfect fit. And they got the offensive lineman that they wanted, so that's W for them for sure. And then the Lions, they got the best edge rusher, in my opinion, from the draft. The most skilled wide receiver. I think Jameson Williams is the most NFL ready, besides the fact that he has the torn ACL, which sucks. And then, yeah, I think they did phenomenal drafting as well. And then at 2, I have the Jets.
Yep.
A lot of people have the Jets winning the entire thing because they got the best corner, in my opinion, in the draft, the best wide receiver, some people think, in the draft, the best running back in the draft, and a great defensive end at the end of the first round, which I think was a big steal for them. And then my overall winner of the draft is actually the Chiefs. Although they didn't have like the top picks like everybody else to get their winners, they got a very good cornerback in Trent McDuffie, 21st overall. And then they also ended up getting a steal in the back end of the first round with the edge they got out of Purdue. I think he's very good. And their second round pick of Sky Moore, I thought was probably one of the best picks in the draft.
Yeah, I really liked, all the things you said spot on, right? A lot of winners there. And I like also like the Seahawks. I think like them getting Charles Cross. Look, I like some of the picks that were made, like looking through the first round. But basically, yeah, I think the tempo of this draft, look, this isn't any fantasy draft, any actual draft too, right? You can plan all you want, but until you start seeing what other teams are doing, that's going to really dictate what you're going to do, right? I mean, like let's say fantasy, football, people are starting to take, they're starting to take their quarterback. What are you going to do? You're going to start taking quarterbacks, it seems, right? In fantasy baseball, you'll see the same kind of thing with just overall like the flow of the draft. And then here in the NFL draft, look, happens at the highest level, right? You see London and Wilson, they go 8 and 10. So then you see the Saints, they get pressured up.
Mm-hmm.
You see them get Olave at 11, which might be a stretch. I think Williams, like you said, I would go Williams over Olave, I think. And that might be just me.
I think they just they thought Olave was the best fit for them, but I think you couldn't go wrong with the top 4 that were picked. I think they're all going to be pretty good wide receivers.
Yeah, but I just feel like we saw these guys all get pushed up on a premium, right? So you see Olave and Williams go at a premium, and then you see a guy like Kyle Hamilton go at an absolute discount at 14, who I know being a safety, right? But he might be the best prospect in this draft, and he went at 14. Yeah. So that pick for me, like that put me with Ravens winners in the top, like they're my top 3 winners for sure. Personally, I still had Jets as the number 1 winner just because I liked what they did there. But look, you can't argue with what a lot of these squads did. Like the Chiefs, I always talk, good teams, right? Good teams, historically good teams with good management. They have a history of making great decisions, I feel. So, Chiefs, you take it McDuffie 21, and then they go Karlaftis at 30. I think that's an underrated pick as well because, mock drafts, he was up in the, teens, I think they got good value there. For me, it was about getting value for some of these squads, and, Chiefs for me they're up, I don't even know, like I go 1A, 1B personally is kind of how I would roll just because of how how great I think these teams did rank. It's hard to, differentiate who did better than the other, but we'll talk Packers in a sec, but I want to hear your losers of the draft.
All right. Honorable mention for the losers is Malik Willis. Obviously, we all know what happened there. He dropped very far in the draft, and I think he was one of the biggest losers of the night because there wasn't a lot of teams I could single out as huge losers. And number 3, I have the Patriots because they just reached on the offensive lineman. I think the Patriots are going to be fine anyways. Bill always just reaches out and gets his guy when he feels like he needs him. Then at 2, I have Washington. Washington traded back, I believe, their first pick. And then They reached on Jahan Dotson,
A
I
big
believe,
time.
was
Yep. At
and
16.
I think they could have gotten Burks or even traded back and got somebody better value later, or maybe just drafted a defensive back. This team was first in passing touchdowns against last year. They were bottom 5 in net air yards through the air. Like, it's pretty. They needed a defensive back, and they did not get one in the first 2 rounds. And I think that's a huge L for them. And then I also have the Vikings as the biggest loser. They traded back their first pick to give the Lions what they wanted, and that helps a team in the division. So I thought that was a huge L of a pick. And then they got Lewis Singh, safety out of Georgia, which I'm pretty sure most people thought Andrew Booth was going to go at that pick. And instead they reached on Lewis, and I did not think that was a very good pick. And then the next round, they also helped the Packers get their wide receiver. And I don't feel like they did enough to justify them helping both teams in their division at the time.
They did get, but they did get Booth then with that 42nd overall. So at the same time, they ended up getting lucky there, him staying available. You know, Brian Asoma was the other, like they got him from Oklahoma in the second, or it was 66th overall. That was the guy that was in round 3, I meant. Who I, when I made a Packer mock draft, I did have him down as my guy, but for them in the 3rd, 4th round, because with the linebacker need. But talking Packers now, I think you're losers. I think you're spot on with them, right? You know, getting Cole Strange at 29 was certainly, one would think a reach there, but because I felt like, I don't know. And, again, Patriots are one of those sneaky squads. Maybe they saw something that we didn't see, right? We've seen that, happens some years. Dotson getting pushed up to 16, I didn't mention, but that is certainly a story too. I personally, I thought Burks might even go there, but, Kenny Pickett's still going at 20. I mean, I actually, my draft, many did, right, many of them, or many people had him at 6, right? I had people going, even Willis that high. I believe some people had Willis going at 8 even. Which I
had a feeling that the quarterbacks were going to fall, and I thought that Kenny Pickett was going to go 19th to the Saints. Instead, he went 20th to the Steelers. So I thought him and Willis would be back to back, and that didn't happen.
I had London and Wilson as my wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. It happened like that. I was happy with that. I did release my mock draft. I do want to make this comment here. I did release it before they announced, or before Evan Neal's injury concerns really all came to surface. So I did have Neal going. I had Neal going 1, Walker going 3, and that was before. But I think when Walker went 1, then I was like, then the big hype for Stingley getting pushed up to 3, right? With Lovie Smith, he's taking a defensive guy, right? And that happened, and that's what the hype of that whole day. It became like Stingley was almost like the favorite I felt before the draft. I don't know if you felt like that too, but based on what I saw and based on the stuff I was formulating, I was like, Stingley's a favorite right now. I think at 3.
Yeah, I had Thibodeau going to the Texans at 3, but I saw that Stingley going there was obviously a great decision. And I thought Sauce was going to get picked before him. And obviously that didn't happen either. But I think Stingley's going to be great.
Yeah, I think both those corners are going to be prominent guys. Let's talk about the Packers here, right? You go 22, you take Quay Walker out of Georgia, right? Nobody was expecting this pick. I was shocked for them to go take Quay Walker here at 22. I actually thought they're going to go Linderbaum here. I thought they were going to go offensive lineman first round, which I went to Ben upset with. And I'm not necessarily like, I had to dig in more to see kind of more about Quay Walker, right? Because nobody really expected him going first round. He's more of a prospect that was going in the 40s. I saw late 30s, right? 2nd round guy. And then we see him go 22. We see then they take another Georgia Bulldog. They see Devontae Wyatt, which Caden Youngbooth, he did predict them taking him. He had them taking him at 22. They take him at 28. Pretty good value there. But Alex, what can you tell us, about these 2 first-round picks? Are you a fan of it? What are your thoughts?
I personally thought that their first 2 picks were okay. Obviously, Quay was a little bit of a reach, but I think that's who the Packers wanted as their guy. And I am pretty sure the injury concerns with Nakobe Dean probably swayed this pick coming a little sooner than people thought. He's a great run stopper. He is very fast. He's 92nd percentile, 95th percentile in 40 dash and speed score of this class, which is something I found on playerprofiler.com. And then I think Devontae Wyatt is also very good. He looks like a wrecking ball. He is very fast and he is very strong. He was dominating offensive lines, it looked like, at Georgia, with their other big guy, Jordan Davis, right next to him. So I think he's going to be pretty good too.
Yeah. Talking about Devontae Wyatt, look, he's gotten the player comp to Quinnen Williams, guy who went third overall in 2019. And, he's, if you can get a guy like Quinnen Williams, basically on Devontae Wyatt, and you got a guy in the D line, this might be the best pick for the Packers of this whole draft, I think, at 28, especially, at the value they got him at. And, it's going to be a big story too, right? Getting those two guys, Zadarius Smith leaving, you get kind of like Quay Walker, you get a younger guy there who, and like you point out, he's got some great aspects of his game who they think Joe Barry, he was definitely the winner during this draft, for the D coordinator.
Oh, yes.
So he's gotten some new weapons, I'd say, to work with. Getting Kingsley there, as a guy from South Carolina who was linked to the Packers a lot. And a lot of drafts I felt, in the later rounds, he went to the Packers, so that's going to be a good pick as well, hopefully. And then, we still did see, of course, offensive line. That was a story. So they did kind of, address that there. Sean Ryan, they get the O lineman there. They get him in the third round. Let's get Zach Tom, and they get Rasheed Walker, right? So I thought they might have went O line early, but we got to talk about quickly here. We got to talk about, of course, Christian Watson, right? We have to talk about the guy who went 34th overall. They get their guy, 6'5" wide receiver. Are you looking forward to Christian Watson as a Packer? This is certainly going to be an intriguing move. And I think for his fantasy value, this is the most intriguing part for me.
I think Christian Watson's going to be great. He is extremely athletic, and he compares very well to DK Metcalf athletically. He's about 30 pounds, I think 30 pounds lighter than DK, but he is fast and he is big. He can catch the ball. He can go up and get it. But also, like DK, he did have a pretty high drop rate in college, so that is something to look out for. And I think I think Romeo Doubs is actually a huge pick too at the 4th 132. I think that was big because he really dominated the small schools in college, which, I mean, obviously he was at a small school, so you can't tell exactly, but he has great hands. He can catch anything, I swear.
Yeah, and then look, I felt like they did a good job addressing, most of the needs here, right? You get another, in the 7th round, you get Jonathan Ford, you get another D tackle, you get deep defensive back also in the 7th round. Look, O-line, of course, you get 3 O-linemen. So overall, I mean, you'll take this draft, I think, for the Packers. I'll be really seeing my draft grade Wednesday. So, Alex, I'll let you do your draft grade here for the Packers.
I didn't have a grade for them, but I think if I had to grade them, I would say either a B or B minus, somewhere in there. The only thing that I think they could have done better with is get a offensive lineman with their first pick, but I think Quay is also going to be great, so I was not too upset about it. Yeah,
and like I said, I'll be releasing mine Wednesday. Mine's also in the B range. I'll leave it at that, but looking forward to talking about this as well, for Wednesday's episode, but to keep it brief here, right? We got more sports here to talk about here on the Sports Ground on this Monday episode. So overall, a very nice draft, I think, for the Packers in addressing needs, maybe some shocking picks, but hey, that'll happen. And in the world of baseball, and boy, the Brewers have been hot, having a 5-2 week this past week. Prediction challenge wise, Robert said they were going 5-2. He does win the prediction challenge. I said 6-1. So I go to 1-2 so far in the prediction challenge, and we'll do week 4 shortly here, Alex. But looking, through this past week, very successful, right? You lose that game Monday to the Giants, which, Robert and I both had them losing, just solely based on, it wasn't ideal. It was a spot game. You play a series, and you got to come back. You play a series in Philadelphia. You come back to Milwaukee just for one game, and then you got to go back to Pittsburgh, right? totally inconvenient, and it kind of messed up the Brewers' rhythm, I felt. And Giants, they played a bullpen game, they played a great game, and they did get the win that day. But look, you play the Pirates for 3 games, right? You go to Pittsburgh and you dominate that series, no problem. You go 12, you win game 1, 12-8, game 2 to 3-1, game 3, 3-2. And did you see how empty PNC Park was?
Oh my God, yes, it was. That is insane.
You want to hear the attendance? It was in the 8,000s, they said, but no way. It was looked like 20 people were out in the outfield, if at a most. I
would love to see their attendance versus the Athletics attendance, because that is insane. And the Athletics are a much better team.
Talk about the Athletics. Yeah. Not spending any money on their thing. They did, this could have been a stat of the week, right? They recorded this last week. They recorded a pathetic, crowd of 2,700. 2,703.
Oh my God!
They were playing Baltimore. Hey, they're playing Baltimore.
That's insane.
Yeah, this is incredible. Right, minor league. There's a minor league team in Vegas. Where they want to move. Who gets more attendance than this? But again, you got to look. Their home opener, they had 17,500 people, and they've supposedly, what Twitter was saying, they jacked up concession prices, and the owners, they spent no money on the team. Right, you trade away all your best players. It's a total dumpster fire going on right there. And also look at what's going on with Cincinnati. Talk about a baseball town, right? Cincinnati is a baseball town. I know that they had success there with the Bengals, but come on, baseball since 1869, first team. And
oh my God, yeah.
Look, 3-19 start, I believe now. You go to Colorado and you get swept against the Reds.
I think that any AAA team could beat this Reds team.
Yeah, you lose 10-1 to the Rockies. Right. And look, this Reds team and the Brewers, the Brewers being in the NL Central is a gift this year. It is. Yes. Because look, you got the Cardinals feeders. And you basically have 3 bottom feeders, right? You Pirates, Reds, Cubs. And the Cubs, we'll talk about that Cubs series too here, being the rivalry series, right? It's a rivalry no more. It seems the Brewers have dominated this rivalry as of late. Brewers in Chicago, Brewers just seem to own Chicago these past few years, right?
Yeah.
11-1, Brewers win. 9-1, the Brewers win. And I was at the 9-1 win there. They lose 2-0. Of course they lose when Corbin Burns pitches. It's baseball, right? That's just how it is. You win when you have Hauser and Lauer go out there. And, Lauer's been phenomenal, right? Lauer, Eric Lauer, Kyle Wright, and, Logan Gilbert, I'll throw in there. Pablo Lopez, those 4 guys have been breakout campaign pitchers right now in baseball. And Lauer's success continues in that dominant win. He had 11 strikeouts. And then Corbin Burns pitches phenomenal. Yet Brewers lose. Marcus Stroman had it going on that Sunday on May 1st here. But, thoughts on this past week, right? Brewers, offense picks up at home that Thursday and Friday series. They score 12 runs also. That's game 1. Hunter Renfroe starts, heating up. Yelich is heating up. Adames is heating up. Brewers, the offense is starting to click. It seems this past few games, even though Sunday was a stinker. But how are you feeling about this Brewers team?
I'm scared. This team has really good pitching and some very shoddy hitting. Yelich and Adames have been hitting the hell out of the ball. I'll give them that. They have top 90th percentile in exit velos amongst MLB, or barrel percentage, I should say, amongst MLB. And Rowdy has also been hitting the ball pretty hard, but after that, it is not much hitting the ball hard. Wong has been one of the worst hitters in baseball this year, and I think Omar Narvaez is right behind him in that too, because they look horrible.
Yeah, you bring up, some great points there with Narvaez has struggled. Wong's known, he's known for having tough Aprils. It's something in his career. If you look down the track line, he's been proven to have some tough first months of the year. But talk about guys who have been hot as of late. Hunter Renfroe has picked it up, which is something needed.
That's good to see
for this, this Brewers squad, because he was all the hype right when he gets traded from Boston. Just looking at that, but there's some Adames, having that big game we did talk about in the stats of the week. That was phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
Look, we got to talk also about transactions that just took place. We did see Mike Brosseau and Alex Jackson. They did both get optioned down right now as the rosters. They do go down in size. People are saying, oh, Urias is coming back. No, rosters are decreasing, but also Urias is going to be back soon as well. Jace Peterson might be, a potential, candidate to be option, but he's out of option. So I don't know what you do here. It's going to be an interesting decision. What's going to go on? Someone's going to lose a spot, basically. But also the Brewers for best records in franchise history through April. This should have been a stat of the week as well. They are off to their third best start, in franchise history in April, going 15-7 in the month of April. And then 1987, they went 18-3, of course, was number one. And then number two, the year that didn't happen, 2014, they went 20-8. Remember that year just didn't happen. Brewers, it was canceled, didn't happen. Sadly, yeah, because we say that because, as many know, the Brewers, they had one of the worst collapses, I will say, in the modern era in baseball history. It was, we'll just leave it at that, right? But when you bring up 2014 for Brewer fans, it's a quick conversation. It's a what's next? But yeah. Look, we're looking. We want Colton Wong to step it up here, right? It's May. It's not April anymore. He's got to pick up some slack here. What do you think about Keston Hiura? I find it interesting about how Keston Hiura's career OPS against righties is over 800, and then against lefties it's under 600, and yet you will still see Craig Counsell play the matchups, even though Rowdy Tellez is statistically better against lefties. He's handled left-handed pitching. I'm not going to say dominate, but he's handled it for his career, right? That's something, that Keston has not, but yet you will still see Counsell play him at first. So that matchup, that baffles me there, but talk about Rowdy Tellez. He's been probably one of the best or one of the most consistent hitters as well for the Brewers so far.
Yeah. He had a really good start, and he's starting to get a little unlucky with his hits, but I think he'll start getting some to drop here. And I think Keston will actually have a decent year if we can find some way to put him in the lineup. He looks more comfortable at the plate, I think. I don't think he'll be as good as his 2019 campaign, but I think he might have a pretty underrated good year.
That's what I'm hoping for as well. Look, Urias coming back. This team just gets better. You don't have to play, Jace Peterson. You can take him out a little bit, thankfully. He's been struggling. On base chase, it hasn't been like that this year. Mike Brosseau still has played, well. He played well at the start. Sadly, he is one of the casualties, due to the roster size. The backup catcher position's been kind of a disaster, right? Victor Caratini comes in. He actually played well offensively.
He played pretty good.
Then he's out with COVID, I believe, or some illness, and then he is now returning. And then Alex Jackson, right? He gets the boot. He was the guy who they also traded for. Had his first hit Saturday night, but he goes down. And look, let's kind of look now ahead here. What's going on next week for the Brewers? And now, Alex, you're going to be doing the Brewer Prediction Challenge with me. I'm going to read the 7 games they got going on. You're going to tell me a record, and then we're going to see how we go, how it does. So, you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
All right, so you got a 3-game series against the Reds at home, and then you got a 3-game series against the Braves, and that's that's in Atlanta. So you have an off day finally Monday, so that's today. No Brewer baseball today, but then you do have a 3 games. You got Star Wars night Wednesday night. I might be at that game, and then you do have
that would be fun.
You do have a 3-game against Atlanta. Like I said, Atlanta. What are you thinking for these 6 games?
Well, I really hope that the Reds games are gimmies. They are 3-19, and I really don't see us having a problem. So I think that's 3 easy wins right there. And the Braves, Ronald Acuna's back. I still think we can take 2 of the games. I think we can go 5-1 this week.
You say 5-1. Okay, so now you're the first guest to not do the 2-loss thing. So this always happens to me where I always let the guests go first, of course. They'll take 2 losses. So they make me take 1 loss or 3 or more losses. I'm never going to take 3 or more losses.
Yeah, exactly.
So you put me in the spot. I can say 6-0, or I say 4-2. I might go 4-2 here, right? And I hate doing this, but I'm going to go 4-2 here. So I still think they're going to finish above 500 for the week, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
That series against Atlanta is concerning. I'd hope so. I say 4-2, or I was gonna, a 6-0 week would be nice, but that only gives me, if they lose Tuesday, I'm already done, right? So I can't puts me tough not to say 6-0 here, but I'll go 4-2 here for this week. This will be up on the Instagram too. We are posting Brewer Prediction Challenges now on the Instagram. So Alex, you will be the first one to have it posted.
Let's go.
Cool stuff there. And that kind of wraps up your baseball. Let's talk Bucks here before trivia, right? So game 1, right? Boston Celtics. You go play at the Garden, and we talked about what Giannis did, right? That triple-double.
Oh, yes.
What were your thoughts on this game? I personally, I was watching. I was loving it. I love watching Drew Holiday play well in the playoffs. I think that's just a treat, and I think it needs to happen more.
Drew Holiday is a huge part of the team, and him playing good on defense and offense is incredibly huge in this series. I think that and the fact that Middleton's out, so I think Grayson Allen has to fill kind of the Middleton role, but not 100%. Obviously, he's not as good as him. And then I think if Brook plays the defense like he did today, I think this is the Bucks series to win in 5 or 6. The only way I see anything going wrong if those two things happen is if Marcus Smart decides he wants to be the best offensive player in the world, which he sometimes decides, and other times he shoots like he did today, where he did not shoot very well, I don't believe.
I will,
at least going into halftime, I don't think he was. But yeah.
Just to piggy off what you just said, Jason Tatum, another guy, right, who shoot like the best player, the best scorer in the world, right? Yep. And then he throws up these stinkers, and this is one of them. 6 for 18, 4 for 9 from 3, 21 points. Look, he didn't play particularly well today. Jaylen Brown, I know the hype. Oh my gosh, he dunked on Giannis. What a play! 12 points, 4 for 13.
I think his hamstring's injured, I believe, is part of his why he didn't produce so much today or whatever. But I mean, Jason played bad, but you can't expect that every game from him. But I think even if he plays better, they beat him by 12. So, and
another story too, Robert Williams coming back from a torn meniscus. Look, he played 22 minutes, but he played it solid. He played a tough 22 minutes. He did. He 6 points, 8 boards, 3 for 6. Look, he did exactly what you needed from the squad. Peyton Pritchard was chucking threes up that. Why was he taking? Look, he played 11 minutes.
4 in a row at one point, and it was like, what are you doing? Tatum was on the floor too. I don't know what was going on, but
11 minutes, 8 shots, 2 for 8 from 3. Pathetic performance for Pritchard, but again, he's like, you love the confidence, you love to see it, but at the same time, it like, why, right?
You gotta put yourself down, and you are coming off the bench for a reason.
Yeah, Derek White's a guy I think they're going to still work in more. I mean, we saw him thrive with San Antonio, and they picked him up. I still think you're going to see more out of him. Only 16 minutes. That still is a shocker. Of course, Al Horford's going to always be there. He always he came back to the Boston. He's what they call the Giannis stopper, but Giannis still performed very well, even though that field goal percentage was not ideal, right? I mean, he still put up that triple double, and he still made the plays when he needed to. Made the right decision, made the right plays. So I think looking also through the Bucks, right? Bobby Portis had a nice game. Javon Carter, right? I mean, Javon Carter, DeAndre Bembry. I was really upset when Bembry went down, but look, Javon Carter's been great.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, and another thing that I always talk about Jared, right? You trade DiVincenzo, right? You trade these guys, you let go of Cousins, and you get Serge Ibaka, and you get him, and he plays 1 minute in a semifinal game. What are your thoughts on this?
I didn't like the Serge Ibaka trade the first time it happened, but I knew they were trying to get rid of DiVincenzo, and I thought it was a good idea to get rid of him.
Oh yeah,
Serge has done absolutely nothing. He's been very, very, he just hasn't been existent, it feels like.
Yeah, it's been tough to watch at some points. Yeah. Looking at Ibaka still, I think he's a solid player. I think he will come up big in some point in this playoff. I think for defense, I think he might get some good minutes in some game, but look, with the Celtics, I mean, I think when Horford's out there, I think when guys like Grant Williams are out there, I don't think there's a value for him, right? I mean, I don't
I
see
think
like
the
how he
only way
matches
he
up
gets
against
in
this
a
team.
playoff, I think the only way he gets in a playoff game is if somebody goes and gets
What if
injured.
what if a team goes big, right? That was my other thing. What if I don't think he
Then I
like
would say we put Bobby on the bench, and because he will be on the bench then, because hopefully Middleton would be back by then. And
oh
then
yeah,
we'd have
yeah.
Giannis and Brooke, and then we'd have Giannis and Bobby or Bobby and Lopez.
I thought
So
about this because what if they play Miami right in the conference finals? I don't think he plays a minute. Like I don't because they're not gonna run. They go if anything small ball. We'll see from them, right? I maybe
bam,
against maybe
that's
against
it.
maybe against the 76ers. Maybe you'll see some sort of minutes, maybe like 11-minute Peyton Pritchard kind of role, right? Not, but minus the 3-point shooting there, of course.
I
But
would hope not.
well, I know, but I'm trying to think. You trade him. I know, you're not going to play the guy just solely because you traded for him, right? I totally
Yeah.
understand that. I think there might be some value of playing him. Look, I always bring up, look what Bryn Forbes did in the playoffs, right? Look what he did against Miami Heat last year, and then look, you couldn't even use him against some teams just because of how the matchups are.
True.
So I like to make that comparison where just maybe Serge Ibaka will find kind of his spot, maybe he'll find his role, and maybe he'll get some minutes in return. But in this series, this game showed me there's no way we're going to see him work his way into this rotation here. So that's something I want. Yeah.
I just don't think Ibaka is athletic enough anymore at this point in his career to keep up with who's going to be on the court for any of these teams.
Okay,
and
so
he would be a huge liability on defense for sure, and probably on offense too. So I hope he doesn't get any minutes.
Yeah,
maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll prove me wrong.
We gotta hope. So. We gotta hope. We have to be optimistic here. Game 2, May 3rd. That's also at the Garden, and that's tips off 6:00, and then we go to Milwaukee. That's May 7th. That's on ABC. That's 2:30. And then May 9th is Game 4, and that will be at 6:30. We don't know right now if we're gonna need any extra games. We can hope it ends in 4, of course, but. Ready to go May 11th, May 13th, May 15th is what they have right now. So playoffs are starting to heat up, of course. We did see the Warriors. They did rally. They did win Game 1. That was a big story. Golden State, they take the 1-0 lead there. Yeah, like that 117, 116 win. Who do you think is going to win that series? I want to hear your thoughts quickly on that.
I think the Warriors are going to win it in 5 because the Grizzlies got the whole second half without Draymond in the game, and they still did not perform well enough to win. So I don't see a way that they can beat them with Draymond for the whole entire game.
What do you think, Mavericks and Suns?
That's going to 7 games.
That's going 7. I like it. I
think the Mavericks will hopefully win.
Miami, Philly?
Suns are okay. Miami, Philly, depends. It depends if Embiid is actually coming back for Game 4 or if he's not. If Embiid doesn't come back, I see maybe 5 games, maybe the 76ers pull one out, but I don't see a way that they beat them without Embiid.
Yeah, this might sound boring here. I got Miami, Milwaukee, Golden State, and Phoenix as my 4 conference final squads.
Yep,
I'm rooting for a Dallas upset. I really am.
Yeah,
that helps out the Bucks in my opinion, and they're not even in the finals yet. I just think that would help out. That helps out any team in the Eastern Conference. I guess is a better way to say it.
Yeah, the Suns I don't think are as good as everybody thought they'd be, and I think if they make it out of this, I don't think they're going to beat the Warriors. The Warriors, they look really good.
They look really
great, good, especially with Jordan Poole playing the way he is. Oh my God, scary.
Poole looked well. Kevon Looney, look, I mean, just throw some guys on the bench, right? I mean, there's some guy they performed, they played very well.
Yes.
Also, Otto Porter, those guys. But look, that Golden State team is an interesting. The 3 seeds and both look very dominant after these Game 1 showings.
Oh yes.
Look how the Bucks performed without Middleton. They look scary. But talking NBA, you got anything else here before we do some trivia here?
Nothing else from me. I'm ready
All
for
right,
trivia,
let's
I
go.
guess.
So 5 questions here, Alex. It's a grab bag. Give you some options. Some of them I don't. It's fun. Right? So a lot of it here, it's an NFL draft one. NFL draft, a little grab bag. I call it from the draft. So here we go. You ready?
Yep.
What picks did the Packers have in the first round of this draft?
22 and 28.
Ding, ding, ding. You are on the board 1 for 1. All right, here we go. What school was Sean Ryan drafted from? And he was the Packers' 4th round pick, O-lineman. I have options if you need them.
Give me the options. I think I might know, but give me the options.
Northwestern, Iowa, or UCLA?
UCLA.
Ding, ding, ding. 2 for 2. Nice job. All right, here's a little easier one. Who was the first offensive lineman taken in this draft?
Oh, geez. That was... Holy crap. I forgot. Wasn't Evan Neal, yeah.
Is Evan Neal your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going to go with
it. It was Ekwonu at 6. Neal goes 7.
Yeah.
That's okay. 2 for 3. All right, so I got one here. I have options, right? Some of these get tougher here on that. What team did Jake Ferguson get drafted by? He's from Wisconsin, the tight end. I have options. Don't worry.
Options.
I also have hints of Dallas Cowboys is option A, Tennessee Titans at B, Kansas City Chiefs at C. And then if you are still stumbling here, I got one more hint I throw at you.
Give me the hint.
Tyler Biotish is playing for the squad.
Jeez,
he's also Wisconsin center, drafted by the same team.
Oh wow, I feel bad for not knowing that. But who are the options again?
Cowboys, Titans, or Chiefs?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
It was the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. Tyler Biotish was in fact playing for them. You're all good here. You got one more. This one's tough here. I don't know. You might have seen memes for this. You might have not. Who was this year's Mr. Irrelevant?
Oh, it was the dude out of Illinois State. It was the quarterback. I know. I don't remember.
I got options. Xander Horvath, Brocky Purdy, and Russ Yeast.
Yeah, it was definitely Brock Purdy.
Yep, there you go. You got it. You got Mr. Irrelevant. You finished 3 for 5. You're an inaugural version of trivia there. And see that's fun, isn't it? That's how we roll trivia. There were some draft ones in there. Kind of like a little bit of each thing from the draft. I always like to include that. Of course, I had to include Mr. Irrelevant. So,
yeah.
How do you feel about your 3 for 5 performance? It was pretty good.
I think I should have gotten one more right. I screwed up with Evan Neal. I forgot that he didn't get taken 5th.
I thought he was going before Ekwonu. I had him.
That's where I had him going, and then I forgot that Ekwonu
It's all good. NFL draft comes and goes. Now we got NBA draft stuff. I'm really looking forward to looking through prospects and the MLB draft. You'll see a little bit of my nerdy side come out for that. So if you really want to stick around for that, that's of course in the summer. But Alex, thank you for coming on today. Really appreciate it. Yep. And I got to shout out the socials here before we wrap up on this Monday morning. You got to go Instagram, Jordan Drew _sports crew, Facebook, Jordan Drew the Sports Crew, YouTube, Jordan Drew the Sports Crew, and then Twitter at JD Sports Pod. So yeah, this is Drew Skyberg and Alex Trowbridge here signing off. So thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.